Dwayne Haskins has been released.
No.
Did we guess it?
Oh, my God.
One of our 4 guesses was that Dewey Haskins was getting released.
Holy shit.
So, Ian Rappaport just broke that?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
I got to go, he says. I got to go. Per me and Tom Pelissero, by the way, in the group text.
Nice.
Congrats, Tom.
Good job, boys.
Washington has released QB Dwayne Haskins, per me and Tom Pelissero, reports friend of the show at Rap Sheet Ian Rappaport. He actually ended our show early to get this tweet out. Could have done 2 birds, 1 stone. He chose not to. We thank him for his time.
Maybe your team, Colts, says, you know what?
No.
Here we go.
Here we go.
It's back.
I gotta go.
Oh, all right, at Rap Sheet. All right, let's go. He's about to break news. He's about to break news right now. All right, let's keep up with the Twitter account.
Notifications on.
I gotta go.
That's big because he was getting a few calls and he didn't say that. So who the hell just called him?
This is wild with Dwayne Haskins because Dwayne Haskins, everybody remembers the draft party. Everybody remembers where he was charging people to get into his draft party. Everybody remembers him shrugging off other quarterbacks getting drafted ahead of him after his illustrious career at Ohio State. Then things get a little bit rocky. Case Keenum, I believe, was the first quarterback to play. Dwayne Haskins was the backup quarterback. And during Case Keenum's playing time, Dwayne Haskins was nowhere near him. Dwayne Haskins was on the other end of the bench fucking around, messing around maybe with his friends. And I always wondered if you're a young quarterback like Tua was Ryan Fitzpatrick, if you're a high draft pick, probably going to be the future of the franchise. If they have a veteran starting over you, even if you don't like it, you should probably hang around that person to kind of learn how they operate. Be in their back pocket is how it's described in the NFL. And Dwayne Haskins did not do that. Then Dwayne Haskins got his chance to play at the end of the season last year, but it was an entire fire. New coaching staff. We've learned about the expose, but he showed some promise. Against the Packers last year, he showed a little bit of promise against them. Remember giving them a little bit of a problem. And going into the offseason, it was like, is Dwayne Haskins the future of the Washington football team? At that point, they didn't even have a team name, by the way. I don't even think they knew what was going on. Ron Rivera has him as a starter. He gets voted to captain by his teammates. So in my eyes, all the rumors that I had heard about him potentially having a weak work ethic or maybe not being a team guy from his body language on the sideline behind Case Keenum, whenever he was voted captain, that kind of relieved all that from me. I was like, all right, his teammates like him, his coaches like him. This guy has shown talent. Hopefully he'll be able to dive into the playbook and become an absolute monster out there. Then something happened, and it seemed to all fall apart. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, he's no longer the starter. He went all the way down to 3rd string. Alex Smith is starting with a hamstring as a shin. Then as the season goes on, he goes back in there. He wins the game, ends up at the Booty Cheeks Club, comes back in yesterday, does 3 turnovers, seemed to have lost the trust from the entire organization. And today, overreaction Monday, December 28th, in his 2nd year in the NFL, after being a very, very, very high draft pick in the future of a franchise, Dwayne Haskins is cut, and who knows if he'll ever play again, get another opportunity anywhere. We hope he gets it figured out, but it seems like the situation behind closed doors was much worse than we thought with Dwayne Haskins and the Washington football team.
Whenever Jason Wright comes on, he always talks about culture. And so when you're doing all these things off the field, they really had no choice, right? If he's a distraction by doing everything he's doing with the strippers and not doing the media and all that.
See, the interesting thing about him with the strippers was, and this is why you didn't hear anything out of me, is because, the adult ballets are sometime in the cities that you go to on Sunday nights. If you want to see potentially in a normal year, some members of NFL teams, you're probably going to see is some. And now, COVID club's a little bit different. Okay, I would assume the COVID adult ballet industry has taken quite a hit, I'd assume. Mark Bad was on a show last week. He was in Vegas, and he said there's saran wrap between you and the ballerinas whenever you go there. So I would assume not just in Vegas it's taking a hit, but that place, the adult ballet is a place where some teams. So I didn't go after Haskins for that. The no mask was irresponsible.
Of course.
Okay? It's irresponsible. Can't be doing it. And you don't know who he's with. It hasn't come out that he's with anybody else. If he just went alone, then you got real problems about off the field. He's not hanging out with any of his teammates. What's going on? So I didn't really go. But then, after you have a bad performance and on a sideline, your body language, it's a lot of his body language. It looks like he doesn't care. And I think that is something that potentially radiated with Ron Rivera, who said he has to mature and learn because he looked like he was disinterested in how good the Washington football team did and only cared about himself, which is not what you want, especially at a quarterback position of a franchise you're trying to flip on its head and turn back around, especially with a new culture. So it was, by the way, we guessed it.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever Rappaport left, we guessed it in one of our first couple guesses because it almost looked obvious to a lot of people from the outside. But if you take a trip back 1 year ago. He went to school with one of Snyder's kids, right?
Yeah.
Like he's from the area. Oh, man. Did Dwayne Haskins ever get a chance?
Jeez.
That's going to be the story.
Well, some people may say that when he did charge people to come to his draft party, that was the beginning of his decline. So you might want to go back to even that.
I wonder, man, what's going to happen with him.
Well, and the sideline's so big, right? Like, Tua's always in Fitzmagic's pocket. He's had Alex Smith and Case Keenum, and he's just...
Yeah. But that's like what happens with quarterbacks. Like, even when Luck was starting and Hasselbeck was the backup, like, as soon as Luck comes off the field, Hasselbeck was just following him right over the sideline. Yeah. What did you see? This is what I saw, maybe. It's kind of like it's like Rappaport's little room there.
Oh.
Yeah, quarterback rooms are one where they're all trying to help each other, Like, that's the whole purpose of it. So when Haskins was just on the other end of the field from Case Keenum, my first thought was like, well, that's weird. He should be trying to learn. Not that Case Keenum's like a Hall of Famer, by the way. I can understand how Dwayne Haskins was potentially upset. Case Keenum, Minneapolis Miracle. Let's put a little respect on his name. Shut down the internet and everything basically that night. But Dwayne Haskins was nowhere to be found. It was all very weird to me. But that entire franchise, they fired a coach in his rookie year. There was exposés. It's just, and now this year with this whole thing, I don't know. The conversation is going to be an interesting one around Dewey Haskins for a long, long time. Cut on a Monday. The Washington football team can win the NFC East by beating the Eagles on Sunday night. And this is the quarterback depth chart. Alex Smith, who has a calf strain. Didn't even know he still had a calf, by the way. Congrats, Alex Smith, by the way, being able to turn this around. If he leads the Washington football team to the playoffs, Alex Smith, especially with everything going on, I mean, he's already won Comeback Player of the Year. Maybe Comeback Player of the Decade, Alex Smith.
Maybe they changed the award to the Alex Smith Award.
Why not?
They should.
17 surgeries or something like that. Almost died.
Yeah.
Now he's got a calf strain the guy's coming out of. Taylor Heineke played yesterday. Can throw the ball, sling a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if he's the X factor that you need to win a potential division, but hey, it's the NFC East. And then obviously Steven Montez, who's on the practice squad. And people said when Tez gets his legs, it is a problem for Jens. And that is very true, obviously. But what a fucking day over there in Washington. This is a wild time to be alive if you're a Washington football team fan. And Dwayne Haskins, I assume. And if you're Dwayne Haskins, you have to wonder, have I done enough on the field that warrants the alleged stories? Now, I assume Ron Rivera, who is very well respected amongst NFL coaches, they'll reach out to him to say what's going on and all that stuff for him to clear waivers and everything like that. Has he done enough on the field that warrants a team potentially bringing him in to be a practice squad quarterback? You would like to think maybe, but I assume not, especially at this point. Why would you? I don't know, dude. This sucks. I feel bad. I don't feel bad for Dwayne Haskins because he kind of made his bed. But he's young. He is a very young man. And this is going to be quite a lesson of getting baptized in the real world, or you can't fuck around if you really want a chance at something because you will get cut. This is the first time he's ever been told that he's not good enough to be a part of a team, right? High school, I assume he was good. Ohio State, he was really good. High draft pick to Washington. He was starting for Washington's hometown team. Probably felt as if he was untouchable. Now he's just got his first taste of reality here as of the last 30 minutes or whatever with Ron Rivera. I'll be intrigued to see how this whole story goes for Dwayne Haskins. Hopefully in a positive way, but it feels like potentially the other way.
Brutal for Dewey, but you got to assume if the Rosen one's still getting jobs, Dwayne's going to get picked up by somebody.
Yeah, right? But you don't hear it. The thing is distraction, right?
Yeah.
Is if you get labeled a distraction, it doesn't matter who you are. If you get labeled a distraction, the olds in the NFL do not want you in their fucking locker room. That's just the way it is. And people can be like, well, that's not right that some people get mislabeled a distraction. It's like, I agree with you. By the way, I want to let you know I agree with you. But that's just how the NFL is. That's just the way it goes. And it feels like Dwayne Haskins is potentially going to get labeled a distraction, which sucks.
The Rock's first big signing.
Ooh.
Now, if he goes to the XFL, I'll be intrigued. If they could put him in Midwest team so he can maybe get some of the Ohio State love or push or something like that, maybe that'll be good. What were you saying, Becca? Tom Pelissero has reported that Dwayne Haskins is due $4.266 million in fully guaranteed base salary over the 2021 and 2022 seasons. Any team that claims him off waivers would be on the hook for that. A relatively small price if someone thinks they can unlock the 23-year-old former first-round pick. So he could also be a professional golfer for the next 2 years.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
There's a thought.
Make 8.52 or whatever it is over the next 2 years, just golfing and chilling, maybe.
I wonder how Dewey is with the sticks.